We've got some star players, but we really know we suck. And
Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks off this is a football show, so I mean, great for the Eagles. But I guess real quick, we should talk about the lowly Philadelphia Phillies that absolutely imploded and lost back-to-back games at home, and their top stars went I think Schwarber, Turner, and Harper combined for 1 for 30 the last two games or something crazy.
yeah, it was disgusting
Hit
to
in my
say the
stomach.
least.
Yeah.
I mean, Castellanos, I don't think had a hit in the entire
He was
series.
he's like 0 for 33.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know what? This playoffs, you saw the good and the bad of the Phillies. The Phillies, their lineup can get hot and hit with anyone, and they can beat teams that they are not better than, like the Braves. But then they can go cold, and they can be so just awful, and they can lose to teams that they're better than, like the Diamondbacks. I'm not convinced that the Diamondbacks are a better team than us. I just think that we fell apart. I mean, dude, you had a closer that blew back-to-back saves. You had a lineup that just couldn't hit. You got guys that are going 0 for 20. You know, it's just, you can't win like this.
Yeah, I mean, the losing game was it game 4 or game 5? They had the lead and then fucking blew it. And
that ruined the whole thing.
I have to I obviously we don't play pro sports, but I have to feel like the Phillies went into that. They took care of the Marlins, who have given them trouble the past 5 years. They smacked the Braves, who were the best team in the MLB. They were probably oh, we can beat anybody. And they were playing against, tough opponents. And then Diamondbacks come in there. I don't want to say they overestimated them, but I feel like they went in soft and they're like, we can take care of this team easily. And they, overlooked them. And that's why they were scrambling at the end. Why can't we hit? Why can't we find, a way to score on this team? But I don't know. They got to figure out these funks. You can't just keep leaving 400 men on base and then solo shotting home runs and then going hitless. I don't know what's got to change, but we need some consistency here. This is ridiculous.
I thought Turner obviously was awesome in the playoffs and he came with some big moments, but the recipe's still the same. You need to get more guys that are contact singles, get on base guys. Look at the Diamondbacks. They've got a whole bunch of guys that get on base and cause you problems. Their best power hitter is Christian Walker, and he really didn't do anything that entire series. He was pretty irrelevant, and they still managed to beat you because they get guys on base and they just keep getting rallies going. The Phillies had two giant holes in their lineup, literally guaranteed outs every single time they went up in this series with Castellanos and Rojas. And they both came up in a big moment. I think the bases were loaded for both of them, and they both got out. And you knew it was going to happen. You can't have these glaring outs in your lineup and expect to go far.
I think it was the 7th or the 8th. They had 2 men on with 0 outs, and they scored 0 runs. And I was like, that's it. That's it. They're done. They're cooked.
You know what? That wasn't even probably the only time that happened in the playoffs. It's just you can't do it. You know what? I know what this lineup is. I know they're streaky. I know they go hot. I know they go cold. So I can't say I'm surprised or really, that. Of course I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised about that. But at the end of the day, what I can't stomach is you went to your ballpark, your home field advantage for 2 games, and you needed to win 1. You had the Diamondbacks back against the wall. You invited them into this unstoppable home field advantage everyone's been gushing about, and you laid flat on your face. You let a team full of rookies and guys that have never been in the playoffs before come into your house and not win once, but win twice. That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Where you aren't a dominant team. You aren't a big shot. You are not a power player. If you can let a team like that come in, knock you off twice in a row, and do absolutely nothing about it.
It worries me because, and I mean, again, this is not a baseball podcast, but it worries me that this team had so much momentum, so much confidence, so much historical records broken, and for them to fall flat like that makes me worried about next year, right? They're already saying, oh, well, we'll be back next year. I was like, yeah, but you said that last year and then you didn't get back. So last year I was disappointed. I was upset. I was sad because it was such a great season. It was so much, well, not season, but great playoff run. It was so much fun. This year, it was like there were some struggles in the beginning, and then they got hot towards the end of the year. Then they came in, then it was fun in the first two games, or first two series. But like by the end of it, I wasn't like upset. I was mad. Like I was mad and disappointed. Like this team should not have lost. It's not like, oh,
No,
you guys, it was a great season, pat on the back. Like, no, like there's way too much money in this team, way too much like talk that was going on, way too much, like I said, records being broken. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And we'll see. I don't know. I know Nola is up for a contract, and Harper, or not Harper, Hoskins. Hoskins is probably gone. They might bring Nola back. I don't
I'd
know.
bring back Nola.
I would.
I mean, put it this way: you're gonna let Nola leave? Who are you replacing with him? You signed a starting pitcher for $72 million, and he didn't even pitch a single damn game or inning or one strike in the playoffs. I don't understand why Walker never even saw the field, but that's a whole nother reason. I think Nola has to stay. You're not going to get anyone better. Hoskins, you know what? You're probably cheaper now with injury, as sad as it is, but he's part of the problem. You got too many guys like Schwarber,
Just power. Yeah.
Hoskinsons,
Pure power.
Castellanos, these guys that get hot or they get cold. You need
That
to
too.
get someone. You need to get someone in the outfield. Rojas cannot be in this lineup anymore. I like his speed. I like his fielding, but he is a guaranteed out, and he was a guaranteed out this entire series.
Yeah.
And if you want to go far, you can't have guaranteed outs in your lineup. I was screaming at my TV wondering why they wouldn't have pinched hit with him when the bases were loaded, because everyone knew exactly what was going to happen, and it's exactly what happened. So I think, I mean, you sign Nola, Hoskins probably walks. You need to get a contact, not a power guy. Just get someone that hits singles and gets on base in the outfield. Doesn't have to be, Trey Turner all over again, but someone that can give you that contact on base ability that isn't going to break the bank. That's all you need.
Yeah. Honestly, like everything considered, of all the things that went wrong and all the things I'm like bothered by, the fact that Harper went over like hitless in the last two games, I don't no words for that. That's unacceptable.
Because that was your last two games to go to the World Series at home. Every
the heart
single
of
one
your
of them
team, your leader,
all of them
went hitless.
Oh, but it wasn't just Harbor. They
I
all had
know,
multiple moments, and they all
every
fell on their
inning,
face.
every inning he came up the battle. Like, all right, he knows the stakes. He knows he's got to get a hit. Oh no, he's out. He's out. He's out. So
They just
I
couldn't
don't know.
capture the mojo. I mean, listen, I wouldn't
Like
be
we'll look
surprised.
back and be like, yeah, like they had a great year, whatever. Like they broke a bunch of records. It was a fun team. But like if they don't get back to World Series next year, then there's going to be problems because you're going to start questioning like how good are these players actually? How much money did we waste? This and that. So.
Well, I mean, you still have the same problems, man. You just got two streaky hitters, and Craig Kimbrell kills
He's
you.
not on this team next year.
There's absolutely no way. That guy blows one, blows two saves. That's what ruined the whole thing. Killed all the momentum. You needed him to close it, at least one of them, and he dropped them both, and it killed all the momentum he had. You knew you couldn't go to him anymore, and it just deflated the whole team. It was never the same after he blew those games. Game 4 ruined everything. It's just pitiful.
Now to end this discussion, would you, if you were told that the Phillies weren't going to win the World Series, would you rather they have lost this round or have still won and gone to the World Series and then lost?
Oh, obviously go to the World Series and lose.
Hmm.
Wait, you act like you won it?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. It's it's leaving a real sour taste in my mouth that we lost the fucking Diamondbacks. Yeah, I don't think the Diamondbacks are good.
Low-key, I hope the Rangers sweep
rocked.
them.
Their best pitcher got rocked against us. I know that rookie just blanked us twice, but we killed Gallen. They really didn't score that many runs. You're talking about like 5 or 6 runs each game that we're winning. I don't think they're that good. They remind me of the Phillies last year, but they're younger and on the upswing. They're like gotten hot at the right time. I think they're they got some good players, but I don't know. I don't think they're that good.
Yeah,
I think they're fun. I think they got some good charisma to them. They got a little more aggressive in the series, but I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, there were a lot like the Phillies had a nice run, but like there was a lot of teams that just fucking fell flat on their face when the playoffs started. Like all the number 1 and number 2 seeds just were out. Like Orioles had a great year, made the playoffs again. Oh, no, you're out. Rays, great start of the year. No, you're out. Braves, most wins in the league. No, you're out. So it's not like we're the only ones here suffering, but like
It
it
doesn't make
doesn't
it
feel
better.
good. Yeah, it
It
doesn't
does
feel
not
good.
make it better.
Moving on though. We do have I mean Flyers look okay, but they're not gonna do anything. Sixers are a huge question mark. But we have the
Ugh,
Eagles. The Eagles who
thank God for that.
dominated the second half and took care of the Miami Dolphins 31-17.
So
Um
hold on, before we get
okay.
into it, can I ask you one question?
You you're gonna ask
On
anyways.
a, you're right about that. On a scale to 1 to 10, how surprised were you by that game?
Um I'll say a surprised. I don't know, like a five. Like I thought
Really? Really?
let's keep in mind what did I tell you last week? I said they're going to be wearing the Kelly Green. They're coming off a bad loss. They need to come out at home on prime time and show out. And they did that. So I'm not super surprised. I'll say I'm more surprised the Dolphins didn't do anything and made our defense look good. That's what I'm most surprised about.
I mean, I picked the Dolphins to win. Obviously, I was really
Buffoon.
surprised how good they looked. They came out there, they conquered it. Like that game really wasn't close.
No.
They had they had that
Well, they
defensive
had that.
touchdown,
Yeah.
which they got to stop with these turnovers. They're bad turnovers. They keep biting them.
I
But
mean,
that's
it
even
hurts.
worse. They,
It hurts. I mean, Hurts shouldn't have tried to throw that ball in the first place, but it was also a deflection. But yeah, I don't know.
they can't, yeah, but they can't just keep giving away touchdowns like that. But even with that said, they still beat them pretty heavily. I gotta say, I was at least 8 shocked. I did not think they were gonna win. I didn't expect them to win. I did think they were gonna lose. I thought they were gonna give up more points than they did, and I didn't think the offense was going to be crisp enough to score. And I gotta say, I'm very pleasant surprised. They came around. They shocked me. They looked really good. I'm back on board. The Jets loss was bad, but I'm back on board, baby.
And what did I? It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. What did I say about the Eagles and the Chiefs? I said the two Super Bowl teams are playing low. They're like winning, but it's not like sexy. They're scrappy, whatever. They're the only two teams in the league with only one loss,
Oh no,
and
this was a
they're
sexy win.
the two best teams right now. I would say so.
I think they looked so. I get the Dolphins did have some injuries. They were missing both their starting corners, but I don't
And
think it would have
line,
mattered.
yeah.
Well, their offensive line just isn't very good.
Honestly, if you took, I mean, I know Waddle was hurt too, but like they kind of kept Tyreek from going over the top, except for the touchdown. Like he only had 88 yards on like a shit ton of catch. I think he had like 8 or 10 catches.
Well, I
So
mean,
like
he
they,
dropped two bad. He had
well,
two
yeah,
bad drops.
yeah, but I mean,
I'm
yeah, they won by what two possessions or two touchdowns, but I mean, I don't know. We had, like I said, I'm happy to see the sacks are getting back up. I think we've had four at least 4 sacks the last couple of games. Um, I think they're now like tied third in sacks, and their offense is top three. They're all the yardage and stuff, and points per game I think is up there now too. Like for as much shit as we've been giving them, like they're still pretty damn good.
well,
They just look frustrating when they're playing, but by the end of the game, they win and the stats are good. So
and truly, that's all that matters. Now, there was one thing that really got me all tingly. I mean, that run defense held
oof,
them to 45
45.
yards.
Yes,
The
sir.
number one rushing
Mm.
offense in the league, and you held them to 45
And those
yards.
45 yards came from like one drive where they were doing a bunch of like off tackle outside runs. And then after that drive, they did nothing.
I could not believe that. They looked so good. This was our
They had
weakness
negative
last year.
at halftime. They had negative rushing yards.
Oh yeah, this was our weakness last year.
And
And
now
now
it's
we're
our
the best
strength
team in the league.
with Jordan Davis now.
I mean, like, if the Miami Dolphins can't run on you, who is going to run on you? And this is where it's going to get big, and this translates to something I'm sure has gotten you all tingly.
I'll
This is
say
why
it.
you brought back. This is
Say
why
it.
you brought back the secondary. This is why Big Play Slay gets his name, because when they can't run the ball, they're going to have to throw, and when they have to throw, they're going to make mistakes like Slay did with that big pick. And then when you bring in a guy who is pretty much a league leader, one of the best players in the NFL at picking the
Mm.
ball off, and
Mm.
I can't believe Howie did it. One more time,
Howie.
pour it out for Howie.
Yo,
Well done.
cheers to Howie. Cheers to Howie, man.
So Cheers to
Oh,
Howie and the fact that Dakota no longer has any clean underwear.
I've been,
But let's say it. This
I've
is the
never.
perfect trade for this defense. And Kevin Byard, man, is now an Eagle.
Oh man, say it again. Say it again.
Kevin Byard, baby. I'll let here have your moment.
Woo!
I'll let you have the
Woo!
floor. Talked about it. I know
Oh
you
man,
probably have been just how great do you feel?
it was. I will tell you, I was at work. I normally like obviously when you're working, you try to avoid looking at your phone or being on your phone. But my
Productivity.
my watch went off, and Bobby in our group chat was like, "Eagles got fired." I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" I have never sprinted to Twitter faster in my life. I was like rapidly checking, and I saw the first thing. I was like, I like blacked out. Like I don't know for like 10 minutes. I don't know what happened. I was so like of non like Eagles players, he's probably, if not my favorite, one of my top five favorite players in the league. So for them to get him, and he's a great player. I get like some people are like, oh, well, he's like 30, he might only be here for a year or whatever. Like, I don't care
Oh,
if
who
he's a 1 year
cares?
rental. Like
Who
he's going to
cares?
be a huge impact for this year. So
You have to go for it this year. Jason
absolutely,
Kelsey
it's
might
it's
call it a
like Gardner
career.
Johnson all over again.
It, yeah, but I
But
mean, Gardner Johnson
Kevin
was
Byard.
good. Listen, Gardner Johnson, I think, had a lot of interceptions that were thrown to him because the defense was such a problem. Like that pass rush was nasty last year.
Hmm.
I think Kevin Byard's gonna be getting a lot of interceptions. It really is. Like, I mean, I first off love the fact that Howie just looks at Tremaine Edmonds like you are ass. See you later.
Well, he got cooked by Hill, and he's like,
Oh,
"Bye."
he looked awful. He looked
Wait,
so
wait. If
bad.
you get cooked by Hill and you were given 40 yards of leverage, yeah, you got to go.
Yeah, you're the deep safety, and Tyreek Hill is still just blowing right by you. We got a problem there,
He
buddy.
didn't look. He was
But
supposed to be the consistent one. He didn't look good all year.
oh, he looked terrible. He did not look good. He's been a glaring problem. Every time we have these injuries, Blankenship's hurt, Evans is hurt.
Sidney
He
Brown
just
can't go on
shows
the
up and
field.
he looks so bad.
Yeah.
But listen, this run defense and this incredible secondary, you got a nice mixture here. I'd love to see more of these interceptions because if the Dolphins don't run on you, who is? And you got to run the ball to control the possession. Our offense hasn't looked great yet. I still think they've looked good in spurts. They haven't hit their potential. But
Yeah.
until we do, teams are going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to control it
Well,
because
to be fair, at
what
what
are you
point
going
are
to
we
do?
going to keep saying they haven't reached their potential when we're already at week 8 here? Like, I think this is what they are. They're just going to be kind of, excuse me, wow, that was gross, rough around the edges. But they're going to be, they're not going to be as smooth as they were last year. But
No,
hopefully
no, no.
by the end of the year, Brian Johnson like has his game plan down and stuff. And
That's fine. I'm not worried about the play calling or like the players or penalties or whatever. The turnovers have to stop. They keep
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
And like it's an ongoing problem. And I'm not gonna
Well, I think
lie.
Jalen's like, well, Jalen. I love Jalen, but man, he needs to practice on getting rid of the ball. Like he fucking holds that shit way too long. It's like that was one of Wentz's biggest problems. He would just
Yeah.
run around the fucking field, and then what would happen? Fumbles, interceptions. I think Jalen was trying to. I don't know if it's because they don't want him to run as much, but he is like trying to extend every pass. And like if it's not there in 3 seconds, either find an alley to run or get rid of it. Like you can't. He's had way too many sacks from behind and fumbles, and then he forces the ball, and either it gets tipped or it's a bad interception. So he
I
needs
agree.
he's a
I agree
cleanup.
with you
He's a
there.
cleanup.
The turnovers have to stop. The one thing with the play calling, I think it's gotten better. It has definitely gotten better, but the thing they have not figured out is using Hurts in the running game. They call these quarterback draws on 3rd and goal from the 11-yard line for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But then exactly to your point, then he's holding the ball too long and not running. Like I want to see
I
him
don't
more
I don't
take my read, not there, see you later. Instead of these design quarterback draws, focus on just giving him the option, more of these run pass options, giving them option to get out of the pocket, but keep his eyes downfield. I don't want it to become a primary thing. I want it to become as something he can rely on when there's nothing else there.
no, actually I hate to agree say that you said it perfectly, but you did. Like I don't want to see any more QB draws or design runs. I want to see RPOs where Jalen
Yeah.
can decide if there's something where to run, or just do the tush push. Like I don't need him running on 3rd and 10 or whatever that fucking play was the other day. But
Yeah, I don't understand why they keep shoving the quarterback draw on down our throats, even when it's not like, listen, you're either doing the tush push or give Hurts some options. I don't want to see these designed runs. And you know what? This leads to the turnovers. You're right. Like he's holding the ball too much. He's making bad decisions, and just like you won this game, fine, but you gave up a touchdown. You gave him a defensive touchdown. Like, you cannot keep winning games like that. Look at the Super Bowl. Hurts had one of the greatest games of his entire life, and he was awesome. But you know what really came back to bite him? Dropping that ball and giving him a touchdown. You can't keep doing that.
Yeah.
You got to get that cleaned up. I can live with the other stuff. Fix that.
Well, they got one of the gauntlet games out of the way, so that's a good dub. They got Washington this Sunday. Hopefully, not a letdown game. Washington's kind of reeling right now. They're not playing well. They're kind of fighting with each other. They're talking about maybe benching the quarterback, so I think they need a stomping game. I think that's what's going to happen.
They cannot drop this game because you got some momentum. You got everyone to forget about the Jets. You cannot lose to the Washington. You need to go out there and keep this thing going before you go on a tough stretch.
I can't remember if when Gardner Johnson hit the first game he played as an Eagle after he got traded, if he got a turnover or anything. But I'm predicting either a Kevin Byard like big sack in the fourth quarter or an interception. I'm feeling he's gonna make a play.
You're feeling him going out and doing it big already?
He's gonna make a play. It just feels right.
Welcome to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I could believe it. I mean, he's in a good situation. He's gonna have plenty of opportunities.
Yeah. So we'll see. And it's Reed Blankenship and Kevin Byard went to the same college, Middle Tennessee. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know Kevin Byard was a Philly guy.
And and Kevin Byard is from Philly. He said in an interview, his family was all Eagles fans. He grew up watching Brian Dawkins and Donovan McNabb. So I was like, that's same, bro.
I'm a little, you know what? I remember seeing that, and I got to be honest, I was a little disappointed in you.
What?
I don't you remember you ever once mentioning that Kevin Byard is a Philly guy.
I definitely have.
I don't know.
I always give you all the pointless stats, like when I give you 40 times for linemen.
That stuff that no one wants to hear. But Kevin Byard being from Philly, that would have swayed me in any of these arguments that we have about safeties.
I had him when I had him top 3 the first time, you called me a buffoon. When I had him top 3 when he was the best, safety in the league, you're like, okay, you actually were onto something there. So
yeah, well now you know what? I'll give you that. Kevin Byard, you are hitting on every note because now he's an Eagle, and that's even better.
Yes. But all right, there were other games as always. We gotta get the Eagles out of the way first. But starting off, we had Thursday, the Jaguars took care of the Saints 31-24. Man, Saints have been pretty I mean, Alvin Kamara is back, so that's good for fantasy owners, but the Saints are kind of like booty.
Derek Carr sucks.
Yeah.
He is so ass.
I thought their defense would be better. They looked really good in September, and now they've kind of been kind of meh. But
yeah, I'm like, I watched that game. I'm like surprised how much Derek Carr sucks. He just he's got plenty of weapons. He just can't get them the ball.
Yeah. The other team in that division, the Falcons, are now in first place at 4-3, and they beat the Buccaneers 16-13 on a game-winning field goal.
That's just so ugly.
Bears beat the Raiders 30-12 without Justin Fields. So isn't that back-to-back wins without Fields?
Hey, shout out Tyson Bagent?
I don't know.
I forget what his name is, but you know what? Remember we were having this talk. Things changed in 1 week. We were talking about, do the Bears take Caleb Williams? They're the first overall pick. Is Belichick going to get Caleb Williams? I think it's fair to say that Bill Belichick is not getting Caleb Williams anymore. And since the Bears managed to win without Fields, I could definitely see them moving on from him.
Oh, we shall see. Speaking of the Patriots, you know what? I'm mad because I had a weird feeling that the Patriots could give the Bills trouble, but I was like, the Bills need to win. They can't lose here. But they lost. Patriots beat the Bills 29-25 in a pretty ugly game, but yeah, hey, Patriots are a weird team, man. Some days, like when against the Bills, against the Eagles, they look good, and then against other teams, they're getting like their backs blown out. I was like, I don't know, but
it's weird. I mean, they did not do me right. I did not do well on these picks this week. And that was one of them that
you did
rough week. Rough week. But we'll leave it alone.
Well, we'll get back to that when we get to next week's picks. But the Giants beat the Commanders in a weird 14-7. I feel like I never see scores that are that clean. Just there's three touchdowns. That's it. But
so again,
hey, Tyrod's looking better than Daniel Jones. I mean,
Not saying
Probably
much, but yeah,
because
you're right.
probably because that offensive line can't block, so he can scramble a little better than Jones can. But
That's
I
true.
don't know. The Browns won a freaking nail biter against the Colts, 39-38. Watson played and then he got hurt again, so who fucking knows what his situation is. Um, Probably a surprise week for me though. Ravens trampled the Lions 38-6.
I'm glad you brought this up. I wanted to ask you, what does this say? Does this say more about the Ravens and how good they are, or how much frauds or maybe the Lions aren't that good? What
I
does it
th-
say more about?
no, I don't think the Lions are frauds, but I think it shows more that I was like kind of sleeping on the Ravens. Like I don't know, like the Ravens are always good, but they're never like a great team. The last couple
Yeah.
years because they always have so many injuries. It's like crazy. But this
Well, I
game for
think
me,
they need
for
to change though. We've been hearing about how this is going to be a pass first offense all off season, and
eh,
until now, I didn't see it. But credit to Lamar and the offense because he looked
well,
good. He was out there
he's
throwing the ball real
his
nice.
hat's in there for MVP right now. Like he's playing really good.
I listen. We always knew he was a dynamic and electric runner and a playmaker and everything, and
Yeah.
he wasn't bad throwing the ball. But this is
In
like an
college, he
actual
wasn't
pass
great.
first offense. They look like they can actually beat someone through the air. They like 21 of 27. He put up 38 points throwing the ball 27 times. And
You're
he had 357 yards with 3 touchdowns. Like
mhm.
that is efficient to say the least. Really, really impressive. I was very impressed by Lamar Jackson coming out there and carving up a team that is not a bad team.
Yeah, I was when I saw the score it was like 21-0 at like before like in the first quarter. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, because yeah, you were we were texting about the plus minus line, but I
Yeah,
don't
that didn't do well there either. Bears
know.
got me though.
Yeah. Seahawks beat the Cardinals 20-10. A pretty low scoring game. Seahawks are just going to be one of those gritty teams all year that they're not going to be very pretty, but they'll win games. They'll be competitive. Um,
The
they'll
rookie Najib Jackson Smith, we finally got to see do something now that DK
Yeah,
was hurt. He looked
yeah.
pretty good in his opportunity.
Did you? I don't know if you saw highlights. Did you see the hit that Witherspoon put on James
Oh
Conner?
yeah, he looks
Woo!
good.
Woo! You see me get riled up about Kevin Byard. Like when I see a hit like that, oh man, a very
Listen,
Sheldon Brown esque. Remember that hit
it,
against Reggie
oh yeah,
Bush?
obviously.
Very
If
very
Pete
reminiscent.
Carroll drafts a D back, they're going to be great.
Yeah,
There's one thing
accurate.
that Pete Carroll knows is how to build a secondary, and
Yeah,
whew, he looks good.
yeah. I mean, he was what number 5 overall taken, so
I mean, is he
over
front runner for
Gonzalez.
defensive rookie of the year? Well, I mean,
He's probably
him or
second
Carter.
to
I
Carter.
think, yeah.
Carter's been unreal.
Listen, he's going to give Carter the run for his money, though.
He will.
I
He
thought
will.
this was a one way trip, but he's going to give Carter a run for his money.
We'll see. Um. Here's a team. I mean, I don't want to say too much whiz because I already have my 3 for that. But like, Steelers beat the Rams 24-17. Is this like the Steelers team when they went undefeated for like 8 weeks? Are they frauds, or are they actually
Still,
like a good team?
absolutely. No, they're not that good of a
Okay,
team.
because they're 4-2.
You know what? It's but
It does make sense.
who have they beaten? Who have they beaten?
Um,
They aren't that great. I mean, I liked Pickett. I'm not sold on Pickett just yet. Their
he's
offensive line is still
fine.
ass. They don't have a running game.
Pickens is good, the receiver.
Well, yeah, Pickens is great. So is TJ
Yeah.
Watt.
Mm.
They have talent there, but their offensive line is still ass and they can't run the ball. And Pickett is very limited. Plus, their defense, I'm not all that scared of outside of like 3 players.
Yeah. Chiefs showed the Chargers who they really were, 31-17. Not really much to say.
Little brother, big brother.
Yeah. Broncos beat the Packers in 19-17. Kind of surprised. Packers I thought would be better. They are not very good. So
I think the Jordan Love hype train has
oh
crashed.
it is derailed. It's been bad. And Monday Night Football. Give me a round of applause for calling the Minnesota Vikings primetime Kirk taking care of the 49ers 22-17.
I can't
You like
believe
that?
that you picked Kirk Cousins on prime time
On
and he
Monday
actually
night, no
wins for you.
less. Historically bad on Monday night.
I could not believe that. You had no business winning that.
I had on a couple like risky game picks this week, so I was pretty happy with that. But that wraps up week 7. All right, so Tim, let's hear your studs and duds.
All right. Well, I'm guessing. Well, where are you at in this year? Phillies, Eagles. What are you in the mood for? Are you miserable?
Phillies ripped my heart out, so let's start with the duds. And then we'll
Fair
finish
enough.
on a
That's
good
very
note.
reasonable.
Yeah,
Right. No, listen, understandable. All right, we're going to go with someone that has been extremely hyped up all year.
yeah.
Basically, like, I mean, it's been the greatest, greatest thing in offense since the forward pass. Everyone's been gushing over him. The whole team in general has been just lighting the world on fire. But let's be honest, it's all the wonder can, the smartest guy in the room, the jet motions, the this and that's that, and they're just going up and down the field. Change the entire game of running. The NFL rushing game had never seen anything like it until they went up against the Eagles. Mike McDaniel came up with his incredible rushing offense that has been just steamrolling everyone that's coming his way. It doesn't matter if his running backs get hurt or not up until they play the Eagles. So Mike McDaniel, who's been everyone's favorite coach of the year, offensive genius, went and ran into a wall, literally. He's known for his rushing attack. He's known for building off that rush attack, all about the zone scheme and everything in between. This wasn't that like the team struggled to score points. This was the thing that he's so good at, his running game coordinator pass with Kyle Shanahan. He is a genius when it comes to running the ball specifically. And the Eagles went and stomped on him. They took what he was good at and stomped on him. 45 yards. That is pathetic. That's something. I think there's more credit to what the Eagles did. I think we touched on it quite a bit, but let's be honest. This guy is supposed to be the greatest running mind in the history of NFL, the way people used to talk about him. Yeah. But it's been a long time since that 70-point game, and the Eagles went and smashed him on what he was good at. So we're going to go Mike McDaniel here. He needs to come down a little bit, bring him down a couple notches.
Okay.
The next one, and this one was, I got to be honest, this was a coin toss. Because these are two quarterbacks, two young quarterbacks, two inexperienced quarterbacks, two quarterbacks on teams that definitely have playoff hopes or aspirations, and two quarterbacks that had brutal late game antics. But one had one interception, the other one had two. So we'll start off with the one. So my second dud is a guy you touched on and a team we touched on. I cannot understand in what world Jordan Love thought throwing this ball was a smart decision. To throw this ball and in double coverage or whatever it was, when you needed a field goal to win the game and you were already in field goal position, I can't even begin to understand it. I mean, like, I don't know what the hell the coach was calling to think that you're going to go like throw a pass like that over the middle. But dude, you have to show some restraint. If you kick a field goal there, you're leading. I mean, there was only a few minutes left. This Denver team had 19 points. It's not like they're going up and down the field on you. I could not believe what I was watching there. That interception alone puts Jordan Love on this dud list because that was idiotic. So second dud is Jordan Love. Did you watch it? Did you see the interception?
I saw. Yeah,
We digress. Next guy we're gonna go with. So this is the number one dud, and this might be my personal opinion, because I haven't been sipping the Kool-Aid. I've never sipped the Kool-Aid on him, to be honest.
Oh no.
I think that there's a problem brewing there. But you know what? When you make a massive mistake and you find someone that you can, kind of spin off to help cover up that massive mistake, you're going to stick with them. You're going to give them every opportunity. But I really don't think he's that good. And I think he's going to cost them when they keep going down, they get a little bit further in their season. And I'm going to mention this now. This is 2 drives that he had at the end of the game to do something, and 2 drives he failed. But this time, he managed to throw 2 interceptions. Really, really tough here. I'm the greatest quarterback ever. I'm the new Tom Brady. Kyle Shanahan's a genius because he took Mr. Irrelevant, and we are now going to win so many playoff games. I want to stop the Brock Purdy train because we just saw some Brock Purdy that I think is a concern, but no one wants to acknowledge it. 17 points, that's one thing. 2 late interceptions. This wasn't 1, this was 2, and both of them were brutal. Jordan Love had one. Cumulatively, you probably say Jordan Love's one was worse than Purdy's, but put them both together and they're worse than Jordan Love's one. And I'm sticking to it, man. Look at that Cleveland game. McCaffrey and Samuel were both hurt. They had to drive the field, get in field goal position to win against the Browns. He missed 2 wide open passes. Ayuk took a 6-yard pass, 20 extra yards, and then they ended up kicking a field goal that was longer than it should have been, and they missed. Again, Purdy's in position. He has to make some plays, and what does he do? He throws 2 brutal interceptions. I'm not buying it, man. That team is awesome. Don't get me wrong. If you were playing quarterback, you probably have a good chance. I am all aboard that. Listen, it's pretty easy to play quarterback when Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey are wide open, or George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey take a ball, 20 yards, after the catch. But eventually, it's the most important position of sports. The game is going to be tight, and he's going to have to make a play, and I don't believe he's going to.
I think it's funny that you said that because that's literally what I was thinking of, because I saw a tweet where this person was like, if you take away Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey and Kittle and Ayuk taking a 5-yard pass, 60 yards, Brock Purdy doesn't know what to do with himself.
Exactly. Their offense.
It was literally shown in that game.
It's like you got to understand how great of a system he's in. I already gushed about how Mike McDaniels is the greatest running mind ever, apparently, and then he got smashed on by the Eagles. But that greatest running mind ever came from Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan invented this zone running, hot, young, offensive coordinating head coach. He knows how to run the ball. They've got the best left tackle in football. They've got a top 5 tight end. They've got a top 5 running back. They have a arguably top 10 wide receiver and another top, 15, 20. Their line is great. Their coaching is great. But their quarterback, I think, is so average. Kirk Cousins probably takes this team and wins a Super Bowl. I think Brock Purdy's worse than Kirk Cousins. He's not that good. He's done nothing to impress me. He throws to wide open wide receivers, and he throws 5-yard passes that get taken for 60 yards. And that's about it. And he gets play action, that gets 8 guys in the box and then hits someone downfield. I have never been impressed with something that Brock Purdy's done.
Yeah, I've been on that page that I am not a fan of his, so.
It's just, you got to temper expectations. But we go back to the good stuff. Go back to the happy thoughts. Any thoughts on the dud list before I roll into the studs?
I'm happy Purdy's on there just because I'm.
Oh,
and I'm not even that,
Purdy.
You can't even call us salty Eagles fans because we beat their ass. But I'm just tired of hearing about him. He wasn't going to beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, and he couldn't even beat Kirk Cousins on prime time football, his worst platform. So you tell me.
To be honest, it's probably fed into the myth of Brock Purdy that we hurt him, because then it's like, oh, you only won because we didn't have Brock Purdy.
Super curious because he might not play this week because of a concussion, and Sam Darnold might play. I'd love to see how he does. Watch him light it up, and then they're like, "Oh wait, Brock Purdy. Wow, he's actually not special." Well, no,
I don't think he's special. It just makes you
Can he start on a bunch of teams? Absolutely, but he is not elite. The fact that was even mentioned pisses me off. He hasn't done anything.
MVP conversation. Come on now. What are we even talking about?
You can give the MVP to the rest of the 49ers team because they're the ones that are carrying him. But he's a game manager.
He's a game manager. He is literally a game manager. But we digress.
Okay.
So moving on to the studs. This is quite a 360. Rarely do you see 360s like this so quickly. I'm sure it's happened before, but it's a few kind of, once in a blue moon occurrence. We're going to go with a guy that was on the dud list last week and right to the stud list this week. So Mr., massive accomplishment. I probably should have put him up a little bit higher, but, to my own glory, I had him, I forget, number 1 or number 2 on the dud list. So I had to, temper expectations. But the guy knows how to, make a milestone count. Got his 300th win, only him and Shula, and he managed to do it against what everyone said was a juggernaut in his own division. But I think they're more of a fraud than juggernaut, but we'll leave that alone for right now. But give credit to Bill Belichick, who I was shitting on earlier last week. who went out there, beat the Bills in a game that, the Bills came back just to make it look like it was competitive, but they were having them the whole game. He managed to go. Mac Jones played better. Belichick showed up in a game that, meant a lot, even if he wouldn't admit to it. 300 wins, save your season. We were talking about number 1 draft pick Caleb Williams last week, and now he just knocked off the Bills. So Bill Belichick, we're putting you on the stud list first this week. So he's coming in at number 3 here.
I will say we need to get our flowers here, because we're probably one of the few shows that talk about football and have a studs and duds list that have had head coaches on both sides of this and multiple weeks.
Come on now.
Keep everybody accountable. Everybody.
Listen, you've been with me long enough to know that this is just a weekly occurrence. Everyone, no one is safe.
I'm giving you this is you take the compliment. Take the compliment.
Oh, I know. Listen, that's why I meant it as It means a lot coming from you because you know.
Okay.
Moving on to another guy. I'm not gonna lie. This one I was kind of like torn. Like I really liked him as a player. I mean, now it's kind of aged and we've gotten over it. But God, if there's not one guy that just never gets stopped talking about, it's getting kind of old. But you got to give him credit. 12 for 179 yards and 1 touchdown. Like it's pretty good stat line. Can't really ignore that. But can we just like relax a little bit? He's on every damn TV. Every TV commercial. He's on every like entertainment rumor mill, Twitter.
Beyond.
But we're gonna go. I mean, football reason I have to. So Travis Kelce clocks in at number 2 on the stud list. I mean, when you're a tight end, you go for like nearly 180 yards, and a touchdown. It's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, sorry. I think I timed out. My internet dropped a little bit, but I'm sure what you said was all pretty accurate. I'm not gonna lie, and I love Jason, and I love Trav, but like I'm getting a little fatigued of them as well. Like they're on every social media all the time. They're on, it's Taylor Swift is getting posted every fucking day. I'm just like, they're in the limelight a little too much.
And I wasn't even a hater. Like I thought the Taylor Swift thing was cool.
I hate Taylor Swift either, but like I'm getting fatigued. Like
I didn't even mind that the NFL was like promoting it themselves.
It makes sense.
And that was fine. I thought it was cool. I thought
For
Taylor Watch was fun.
Sure.
Yeah, now what are we like? This is like week 4 of Taylor Watch. So who cares? She just shows up to games.
It was like I don't really care. The NFL posted on their Instagram. It was like a video of her and Mahomes' wife like doing a handshake. I'm like, what part of National Football League does this represent? Like, where's the football?
I don't know. But what are you gonna do? So listen, I gave him the stud list. He put up a hell of a performance. There were some other candidates. I could have gone with his quarterback. I could have gone with Lamar. I probably should have gone with Lamar. But I kind of want to touch on this whole Taylor Swift thing because I feel like we've ignored it for a while because I had no issue with it, but now it's just getting old. I got to see the guy on every single commercial, and I now have to see him on anything else regarding anything.
Yeah, isn't it weird that like after he was like already kind of everywhere, but then after the whole Taylor Swift thing, like I swear to God, he's been on like 15 more commercials than normal. Like after that whole thing went public, it's weird. But
I mean, to each their own. But I'm giving him this, and that's it.
Okay.
But he's still. I mean, football wise, he's incredible. So
yeah, who's number 1?
All right, number 1. I think you would appreciate this because you always appreciate when we spice it up a little bit.
Okay.
But this is a guy that really makes you look in the mirror and think, "Am I actually a human?" Because I don't think I can call myself a human if he is also a human.
Okay.
Just truly a physical marvel. He's probably got my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. But I think it's still very, very tight race right now. I think he's in the lead, but there are some other good candidates. But I mean, dude had 2 sacks this week. He had 7 tackles. He had an insane field goal block, which was just nuts. He just kind of showed that was the point where I'm like,
Greek God.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if we are the same species because I don't think
he might not be.
I don't think that is like.
Yeah,
he can't possibly
I can't
be a
do
human
that.
if I'm a human. Oh God, no, there's no way. But if that wasn't good enough, he also had 2 forced fumbles. He single-handedly won that game. It was like 39-38. Literally, like
the Browns tried to give it away, and Myles Garrett was like, this is my game.
Who was more impactful in that game, the refs or Myles Garrett? Because too soon. But let's get back to the good. So 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 7 tackles, and a field goal block.
Yes, sir.
This guy is something else. He's got my vote right now for Defensive Player of the Year. He's insane. He's got
Yeah,
7.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles for the year already. That's
he's
nuts.
good. He's a pretty good guy.
He's very good. So yeah, Myles Garrett, number one stud this week, and I know you love when the defensive guys get mentioned.
Love the number one pick there. I do have to ask, have has and I know it's hard to pick an Eagle, but has AJ Brown made your list in the last 5 weeks?
You know what? No, he's not. I was
Because
thinking about that.
he
He
just
was close
tied
this week.
Calvin Johnson for most
I know.
consecutive yards per like in a game, or plus
You,
125 in 5 straight games.
you
And
know,
he
he
hasn't made
was
your
in the
stud list.
conversation. Yeah, I know. I know. I am truly am a scumbag.
He's
I've
he's
looked in the
just
mirror
so
on
good
myself
that you're
about
like, oh,
that.
that's normal.
The problem is like he's just like you know what? It was because he won. I mean, 10 receptions, 137 yards, and a
He's not scoring
touchdown, and
touchdowns. Well, he's got like
he
four,
had a
I
touchdown this
think.
week.
Yeah, but he's only got like
Yeah, but you
four.
know what? 10, a 137 and a touchdown, and not annoying me on every single commercial, I think counts more than 12, 179 and a touchdown.
Okay. Just
Yeah, I know.
curious.
Yeah,
Just curious.
I know.
Because if he goes
I'm
over
being.
125, he'll be alone in that category. So
I think it's something. I think you touched on this earlier. Like we're just constantly critiquing the Eagles because they haven't looked perfect. That I find it hard to like praise him when I'm like, why aren't they scoring more? What is
I
this play
know.
calling? Why are we not doing this?
Yeah, we're greedy. We are greedy
We are greedy.
fans. We
We are
expect the
greedy
best of
scumbags.
our
We are
athletes.
terrible
But
people.
yeah, it is what it is. But I like the Myles Garrett cherry on the top there. So breaking into some too much whiz really quick. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Too much whiz. And I'll start with these two. AJ Brown and DeAndre Swift will both finish top 5 in their respective yards categories by the end of the season.
AJ Brown and
And
DeAndre
Swift.
Swift.
Yeah.
Hmm. Brown, sure. Swift, no. I have. They have not. I'll give them this. They have not been doing a committee like they normally do. But Swift has got an injury history. I have to think they spread the ball out a little bit more here.
Hmm.
I'm surprised Penny just doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
understand that still.
it's very odd because they gave Gainwell like 34 carries his first week, and then he got hurt to
It's
no
also
one's
weird because
surprise.
Gainwell hasn't looked as good as he did last year. I don't know if he's got some kind of injury he's battling, but he's looked slow. I don't know. I mean, the touchdown was nice. It was very strong, like
Yeah,
bouncing off tackles. But
yeah.
yeah,
I'm surprised it's not been more of a committee approach, but I'm gonna say no. I don't see Swift like one staying healthy all year if you're gonna keep using him this much. But Brown, sure, but not Swift.
all right. Back to our Caleb Williams discussion. So this might play a factor for you, but too much whiz. If Tyson Bagent plays really good, possibly wins against the Chargers this week, we have a QB controversy in Chicago.
No way, absolutely not.
You don't think so?
You turn down Bryce Young for Justin Fields. You're not going to suddenly turn down Justin Fields for Tyson Bagent after 2 games.
Okay.
If you're in the conversation for Caleb Williams, which it looks like they're going to be because the Panthers stink, you have to give Fields every opportunity. The Bears aren't trying to win. And who cares about Tyson Bagent? Because you probably are going to end up with Caleb Williams this year. You need to give Fields every opportunity to prove to you he is the guy over Caleb Williams. Because you went with him over Bryce Young. I don't think you're going to do it with Caleb Williams. I just don't see it. Every game you start Tyson Bagent, you're wasting on finding out if Fields is the guy.
I'll give you a bonus too much whiz that I just thought of. If the Panthers go so like if they finish so poorly that they have the number one pick, do they take Marvin Harrison Jr. number one?
Who, the Bears?
The Panthers.
Well, the Panthers don't have a first overall pick.
Oh, that's right. They suck. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they traded away. That shit still cracks me up. They traded away DJ Moore, and then they're like, "Yeah, we could really use a star wide receiver." I was like, "You had one."
Listen, I mean, it is what it is. It's the you got a rookie quarterback, you got a young
Yeah,
team. You're not trying to win
yeah.
right now. It's all about Bryce Young.
My last too much whiz. Next Tuesday is the trade deadline. So too much whiz. Derrick Henry will not be a Tennessee Titan by week 9.
Too much whiz. I'm not buying that.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't think it's going to be a fire sale in Tennessee? They got rid of Byard, which is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, but they weren't going to sign Byard. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see the advantage in trading Henry, and I don't actually see a team that really would want him.
I
Not that they wouldn't want him, but who jumps out to you as a contender that would benefit with Derrick Henry that bad that they would want him like
the
that?
weird the weird thing with that is I think all 31 other teams in the league would happily say, we'll take Derrick Henry. But I don't think any of those teams are going to give the Titans anything remotely to what Derrick Henry's worth. Like
No,
I
and
don't
I would agree
see
with that.
maybe like a fifth or a fourth. Like it's not gonna be a first, not gonna be a second, not gonna be a third. Like I don't think the value's there. So I agree. If I'm Tennessee, I just hold on to him. I don't
Yeah, I think he's still under contract if I'm correct in thinking that.
I believe so.
Um, but I mean, Byard, I believe, was a free agent next year.
Yeah, he's at the end of his deal.
So I mean that made sense because you knew you weren't going to sign him. Oh, it looks like actually no, it looks like he's on a 1 year deal. So maybe you weren't going to sign him either. All right, so gives it more life. I don't know. Who? All right, so if they are trading Derrick Henry, who's the most likely candidate to take him or want him? It'd have to be a contender.
Gotta be Baltimore.
That would be a very nice pickup for them.
It's gotta be Baltimore. Baltimore or I mean, I feel like Buffalo always needs a running back, but I mean, Cook's been all right.
Cook's been fine. You're not going to bury Cook on the depth chart. Baltimore could be a good one. That one has legs. I could buy
Maybe,
that one.
yeah. I mean, I don't. He doesn't fit Kansas City.
No,
San Fran doesn't need him.
no.
Dallas doesn't. Well, I would hope Dallas doesn't get
Yeah,
him.
but I don't know. They got Tony Pollard. This is the first year you let Tony Pollard be his guy. I couldn't see them actually, burying him under Derrick Henry.
And the weird thing is, I think Tony Pollard hasn't looked great, but I don't think it's his fault. I think the play calling's been weird. But
see, I like the Ravens idea, but there's not many teams that jump out you as like, they need to get Derrick Henry. And if I'm the Titans, I don't like. Byard's sure, but like Henry is the face of your franchise. This is a big move.
I mean, honestly, I'm looking at like all the logos of teams, and maybe the Browns because they're like, hey, we need a spark on offense or something. But there's really, like you said, there's really not. Ravens are the only really team that makes sense to me. Looking
Yeah,
at
because you gotta
the
think. I mean,
landscape here.
there's other players that are going to be available,
I
and
mean,
if you're
Derrick
going to
Henry and Buffalo have
actually,
been rumored forever, but I just don't. I don't know.
no, I like the Ravens idea. You sold me on that
Yeah.
one. I'd like to see the Ravens go get Derrick Henry, but for the Titans, I mean, you're trading away the franchise. Your fans are going to be pissed. You could sell, I think, Byard easier than you can Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the Titans.
Well, completely different. Like that's a one guy role. Byard can play kind of multiple positions. So
Yeah, but Derrick Henry is your identity. If Derrick Henry gets traded, can you name 3 Tennessee Titans? Because I'd probably struggle with that.
Simmons and yep.
Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. So like you alluded to, Timothy, you had a rough week in game picks here.
Brutal.
Yeah, pretty bad. Let's take a look, see real quick. You went. Oh, I just had it. Just had it. You went. Dun, da, da, da. I think you were negative. Hold on. You were 5-8, my guy. What happened?
Yeesh. I don't. I
That's
honest,
our
don't know.
first. That's our first negative record we've ever had. That's pretty good for us, though. First negative record this season.
Yeah, it's a tough look though.
You were in first place. Then you went 5-8, and Sam did our good old Sam Ryan, Big Country. Shout out Big Country. He went 6-7, so he dropped the guest picks. I mean, they were already in second, but now they are now in last place. You're now in second, and I went 8-5 and reclaimed the throne first time this season. I'm now in first place.
How did we
It's
let
still
that
tight.
happen?
I only have 2 games on you, I think, but it's still tight.
Well, it's all right. Second half kids. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Doing game picks this week is Mr. Michael Fleury, resident running back expert. I don't know if expert's the right word, but
Speaking of Derrick Henry,
hmm. Um, looking at his text now, he sent me the game picks all in emojis, so this will be fun. Um, all right, starting off, we have Thursday Night Football, which is happening right now, but we're not watching, so this is unbiased. Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo can't lose back-to-back games like that, so I'll take Buffalo.
yeah, I'd have to say Buffalo. It has the recipe. I wouldn't say it's a get right game because it's hard to get a get right game on Thursday Night Football, but it has the smelling and the recipe of it,
Smelling.
the building of it.
All right, so Bills for both, and then Flurry here took that looks like a Buffalo. He took the Bills. Um, next game is the LA Rams at the Dallas Cowboys. This is kind of intriguing.
That is an intriguing matchup. Uh, I, eh, I'll. This is tough, actually.
I'm gonna take Dallas. I can't.
Yeah, you're not buying it.
No, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, you know what? Coming off a bye, I think they
Yeah.
have to show up. I'll take the Cowboys.
Ugh. Minnesota at Green Bay. Oh, hold on. Flurry took the Rams.
Okay, roll the dice. I
Well,
like it.
that's Minnesota at Green Bay.
Well, I just spent a good portion of the studs and does shitting on Jordan Love, so it's not like I'm going to pick him. So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride the Kirk Bangs train. So we're gonna go with the Vikings here. Next game, Atlanta at Tennessee. Flurry is taking Falcons. He sent a pigeon, but then wrote Falcons. Okay. Um,
The limitations of emojis.
yes. Who do you like in that?
Uh, I mean, you traded away one of your like cornerstones of your team. I don't think that's going to sit well with the locker room, so I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's they're weird. They're like kind of scrappy. They're like they might win that division because nobody else wants it. So,
It's true.
but yeah, I'll take the Falcons as well. Next game is New Orleans at Indianapolis. This is I, I'm taking the Colts. Like
I'm also taking the Colts.
Saints have really showed me nothing here.
Saints have too much
Flurry,
talent to suck this much.
yeah, Flurry's gonna take the Saints though. So he's his game picks are as good as his running back takes so far.
Fair enough.
um, next game, New England at Miami. I gotta imagine the Dolphins get back on the win train.
Yeah, this smells like a get right game. The Patriots are feeling themselves a little bit. Bill had to pull out all the bells and whistles for his 300th game. I can't imagine the Dolphins are going to get caught snoozing here.
Yeah, I'm taking Dolphins. Flurry also took the Dolphins. Next game, we have the Jets and the Giants. Battle of the Meadowlands. Flurry is taking the Jets. I will agree with that. I'm also taking the Jets.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jets too.
Okay.
One team has to fight, the other one are the Giants.
Next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And would you guess who Flurry took?
Well, I'm guessing the Steelers, so that means I'm going with the Jaguars.
Yeah, I will also be going with the Jaguars. I think this is an expose. Well, to be fair, I think Pittsburgh defense is pretty solid. So I think
I just
it'll probably be a close game, but yeah, Jags are going to win.
I think the Jaguars are hitting their stride.
They're 5-2.
Yeah, I think they're hitting their
They're killing
stride.
it. Remember, we were a little iffy on them when they were like what 3-2 or 2-2 or something, and now
Yeah,
they've
they dropped a couple in the beginning, but they
yeah.
went to London and London sorted them out.
Eagles at Washington. Gotta go
No negative
Birds.
thoughts. Eagles. Go
Gotta go
Birds. No
Birds.
negative thoughts. Not even gonna have it.
Flurry also picked the Birds. That's got to be a good sign.
Good.
All right. Next game is the Houston Texans at the Carolina Panthers. Do the Panthers get their first win?
No, they do not.
Okay,
I'm
I
going
agree.
Texans.
I'm going Texans as well, as did Flurry. Um, next game, Cleveland at Seattle. This actually is an intriguing game. Two really good defenses, two questionable offenses, but Flurry is
I mean,
taking. He just sent a brown dot, so I guess that means the Browns.
Miles Garrett is awesome, but can he play offense? Deshaun Watson's not going to play. I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
I don't know. I mean, I told you beginning of this that when we did our preview episode that I thought this AFC North was going to be a dogfight, and so far it's looking. I mean, I didn't think Cincinnati would be on the bottom of the dogfight, but
True.
they're all four. Like they all have. What, I think Bengals are 3-3, and then the rest of them are like 4-2, 5-2. So but I'll take Cleveland. You said you're taking Seattle.
Yeah, I'll take Seattle.
All right. Kansas Kansas City at Denver. Is this an upset game?
Not even close.
Oh, I haven't done my upsets of the week yet.
Oh, please,
Uh,
please, please.
I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, come on.
I mean, Denver. The problem with upsets is you usually go for a team that's like looked a little promising. I haven't seen a glimmer of shine coming out of Denver.
You're not wrong.
No, I can't. I'm taking Kansas City. Flurry took dun, 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 dun. He just wrote Chiefs. He couldn't even take the effort to find an emoji. It's crazy. um, Next game we have here is Baltimore at Arizona. Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens look too good to fall apart now.
Could see an upset there, but I don't see it. Flurry also take the Ravens. This one is very important for both teams. Cincinnati at San Francisco. I think since he's off a
I
bye, San Fran's
I
lost two in
actually
a
think,
row.
but I said I think the Bengals, they were affected by Burrow missing all of camp, and it showed. I still think they're a good team. I still think they're going to find their way, and I think they're going to knock off the Niners here.
I bet against San
And
Francisco the last 2 weeks, and I've been correct, so I'm not going to stop that. So I'm going to go Cincinnati as well. Um, who did? Oh wow, Flurry took the Bengals too. Okay, we're all against the Niners. Sunday Night Football. Good God, Chicago at the Chargers.
I'm just looking at Sunday night and Monday night football. Like, how the hell are these the two games? Who picked these games?
uh, game. They went crazy.
Um,
They went crazy.
I mean, shockingly, amazingly, the Bears and the Chargers both have 2 wins. That is insane.
The Chargers only have 2 wins. Jesus Christ.
They are all names. They are the most paper
There's no
fraud
way.
teams
Wait,
in
there's
the
no way.
history. They are the most paper fraud teams in sports.
There's
They have
no
so
way.
much talent. They look so good on paper, but they are frauds. They just, and you know what? I'm starting to think like I always kind of was on the side of, the Chargers don't deserve Justin Herbert. He goes out there, he gets hurt all the time, and he keeps playing and he makes some plays. I think Justin Herbert is a regular season guy. I think he pads the stats. He's almost Matt. He reminds me of Matt Stafford in Detroit. He puts up numbers. Everyone, thinks he's good, but low key, they're never going to do anything. They're just going to lose, and he's going to put up a bunch of numbers.
They really do only have 2 wins. That's crazy. I googled probably because I have a sports degree, so I've searched sports jobs and stuff. But all I did was Google in Chargers, and it took me right to like the contact us page. It's like what to file a complaint for how bad your team is.
Yeah,
But
the fact
yeah,
that we
they.
have we have so many players that are so good apparently, and we suck
Well,
ass.
I'm picking the Chargers,
Yeah, I'd have to think that the paper champions have to win this game.
and Flurry is also taking the Chargers, and like you said, icing on the cake here, Monday Night Football, the Las Vegas Raiders, and who the fuck knows who's playing quarterback at the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna take the
You
Lions on a
gotta.
rebound here.
What do I always tell you? When the game sets up like this is what they need. The Lions need this to get back. So they're this is a get right game for them. They're going to go out there and play a terrible team.
Love
I
a
don't
get
know
right
how
game.
I don't understand how the Raiders made it on national TV, but the Lions are going to go out there and they're going to smash the Raiders in a get right game.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, if they don't, then they might be fraudulent.
Well, then it's kind of amazing. I was talking to someone while I was watching that game, and I was like, you know what? This is the team I'm scared of in the NFC because obviously Brock Purdy's a fraud, and immediately after that they went and like lost by like 4 touchdowns. So let's see. Let's
That's a
see
good
if I
point.
was actually should be worried.
I think the only team I maybe had like a slight shiver towards was probably San Fran because of the defense, but I mean, Dallas doesn't really scare me. They're not that explosive this year.
They don't scare me at all.
Seattle, not really.
No one scares me in the NFC, to be honest.
Yeah,
What I was really telling that person is I'm going out of my way to find a reason to be scared of someone in the NFC because I think all the teams kind of are ass.
yeah, but all right. Well, that concludes our game picks. So the finale is our power rankings, which we will be doing live. We only do that a couple times when we're lazy and we don't do it beforehand. So, I think let's start at the top. I think at number one we should put. I think 1 and 2 is Chiefs Eagles.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Go Birds.
Ravens at 3,
I'm okay with that.
and then drop Miami to 4.
Yeah, I can live with it. Yeah, I mean they lost to the Bills and the Eagles.
They lost to
That's
two
fair.
playoff teams. Yeah.
Because I think the Niners are still probably rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, and I have San Fran at 5.
Yeah, they have 2 uglier losses
Uh,
to 2 teams that aren't the Eagles and the Bills.
Jags at 6.
Okay with that.
Lions at 7. Or drop them.
I want to drop them a little bit further, but it's like the question of who are you going to replace them with?
Right.
There's not really a murderer's row if you're of great teams.
Because then I have Dallas at 8.
Okay.
Bills,
all right, I keep the Lions and go
Bills
to
at
Dallas.
9.
It's fine.
And then Cleveland at 10.
I am sipping the Cleveland Kool-Aid.
Yeah, so am I. I like the Browns this year.
I like Cleveland.
Without a quarterback.
Although,
They're doing this without a quarterback.
I got to be honest,
4-2.
this is the most Cleveland Brown thing I'd ever seen in my life. They go and guarantee so much money to one guy who's coming off all these lawsuits, who's a guaranteed, like, a proven good quarterback. And now he's hurt. He kind of sucks. And it's just hilarious. But I think even funnier is they still find a way to keep winning.
This season he has been the Odell of quarterbacks because he'll get healthy, he'll play for like a quarter, and then he'll get hurt. And then he'll get healthy and then he'll come back and then get hurt.
There's a lot of chirping going on about him. Like, got all that money, doesn't want to play, no interest in playing. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting to see how this plays out.
See how it goes. But Eagles have one of their few 1 o'clock games, another one with Washington. So we'll see how it goes. Go Birds.
Buckle up, baby. Cannot count out Washington. They better win.
Well, trust me, all the momentum is now in the Eagles' court as far as the fans are concerned because Phillies are done. Well, the Union are still there. The Union are about to start the playoffs in soccer. So, hey, if they can go and win the MLS Cup, they could get some new fans. So we'll see.
Got to be honest, I didn't even know the playoffs were starting until you told me.
You're in England. How do you not know about the MLS?
Oh, well.
All right.
Until next time.
Peace out.
Thank you again for listening to the Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks Sports Podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all your major platforms. Follow us on YouTube. Follow the show on Spotify and Apple. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Have a great day, and tune in next week.